Okay, very good evening to all of you. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Yeah. So, welcome to this particular session, to this particular webinar, where we will be talking about how to find the right sectors, which sectors are in and which sectors are weak. All right. So we will be understanding, sector analysis and whatever analysis that we do on sectors. The good thing is the same thing, the same way is also applicable on the stock specific. Okay. um, so if any point of time you have any questions that you need to ask me, feel free to type it in the comment section. I'll read it, and definitely I'll try to answer each and every questions regarding this particular topic that you have. All right. So the session, this particular webinar will be for around an hour or so. 6 o'clock we have started. By 7 o'clock we should be able to complete it. All right, and we will also spend the last 10 minutes in. We'll dedicate that to question and answer round. All right, in that round you can feel free to ask me. And during the webinar also, if you have any questions, you have any doubt, you did not understand anything, feel free to ask me. All right. So the topic, as I've already discussed, the topic for today is how to analyze sectors. All right, using our tool called as RRG, relative rotation graph. All right. Now, first things first, who invented relative rotation graph? So RRG was invented by a person called as Julius D. Campaner. All right, he was working as a buy and sell side analyst, and all right, uh, this particular graph is well known across the globe, and in India it is just started getting known. All right, so today I will be sharing with you, and I will show you the power of this particular graph, how easily in one view you can understand that which sector to focus on. All right, whether you are a trader, you are a short term trader, or you are an investor. All right, we will look at various time frame graph of RRG, and try to analyze, and at the end of the session we'll probably try to conclude whether which sector should we actually focus on. So we'll be doing some live analysis as well. All right, so very quickly I'll share my screen. uh, Entire screen share. Okay. uh, so I hope you guys can see my screen well. All right. uh, Let me also get into our homepage, web.strike.money. And for those people who have joined and who do not know what is Strike Analytics, so Strike Analytics is a tool by India Charts, and this tool has lots and lots of data. Okay, data you can analyze. Okay, it has graph, it has charts, it has ratio charts, it has RRG. All right, there are many things. Okay, various ways you can analyze your data. Right, now on the home page, there are these three buttons over here on your left hand side. On your second button, that is your analyze section, the last option that is given is RRG. So once you click on RRG, you will find something like this comes up. All right, so what is this? There are basically four quadrants. The green quadrant is called as the leading quadrant. All right, as of now I'll just disable all these things. Okay, so the green quadrant is called as a leading quadrant. Yellow one is called as a weakening quadrant. The red one over here is called as a lagging quadrant, and the purple one is called as improving quadrant. Okay, so how are these four quadrants made? It has two axes basically, right? X axis, on the X axis, JDK RS ratio is plotted. Now JDK meaning Julius D. Campaner, okay, the inventor of RRG graph. Okay, RS meaning relative strength ratio. So on the X axis, relative strength ratio is being plotted. All right, and on the Y axis, JDK RS momentum. meaning RS momentum, meaning the rate at which this relative strength is changing. Okay, that momentum is being plotted on the y axis. All right. Now, to explain this in detail, it is RS, meaning relative strength. So we are trying to measure uh, a particular stock or a particular index, okay, strength with a particular benchmark. All right. And what is this benchmark? Generally, we compare it with Nifty 50. All right. So before I proceed further into RRG, let me show you and let me take you through ratio charts first. Okay. Now over here I have a ratio chart. Okay, this one. Okay, so this one is a ratio chart. It is nothing but bank Nifty value divided by Nifty value. Okay. Now if you can see over here clearly that and on the top hand side the bank Nifty chart is being plotted. All right. So if you can see that over here, when there was a bottom, okay, in the month of March, 12th March, okay, bank Nifty moved up swiftly and made a high of around 56,000 somewhere over here by 24th of April. And during this time, we can see that the RS, the relative strength, okay, the ratio between bank Nifty divided by Nifty, it also rose. So the rising ratio, what does it mean? It simply means that in this time bank Nifty is outperforming Nifty. Okay, bank Nifty is outperforming Nifty, meaning, all right, if the both the indices are going up, bank Nifty is going up more than the Nifty. And if the indices are coming down, if the overall market is coming down somewhere over here like this, okay, Nifty is falling more than bank Nifty. Okay, this is what the rising ratio suggests. You can also understand, with the help on the 7th of April, what happened when Mr. Trump announced the tariffs on all the countries. Okay, Nifty actually broke below its previous low, but you can see that Bank Nifty did not. It means it proves that Bank Nifty is outperforming Nifty. All right. So this ratio is of only comparing two indices like Bank Nifty and Nifty. So like that, there is metal index, there is auto index, there is infra index. There are so many sectorial indices, and we need to compare every one of them with Nifty, and we also need to compare all of them against each other. So it is very tedious to understand which is the best out of all these sectors, isn't it? Are you all there with me or not? Yeah. So to solve this tedious task, all right, Mr. Julius came out with RRG, and once the RRG was out, all right, I'll also plot now the indices over here. See, yeah. So over here we have PSU Bank, Metal, Consumer Durables, Bank Nifty, FMCG, all the sectors over here, okay, plotted on this RRG graph. So with the help of this one picture, we can quickly understand whether which sector is performing, better, which is underperforming, and we can quickly do our sectorial analysis within one or two view of this particular chart. All right. So how to analyze this is my next part. Okay, so before that, I hope you got the introduction correct, what RRG is all about. Quickly comment a yes in the comment window, please, if you have understood. Any questions, feel free to ask me now. So if there are no questions, I hope till now everything is clear. Okay. 7. Hello, so where to access sector rotation chart? Okay, I'll show you that once again. Vipin, thanks for confirmation. So when you go to web.strike.money on the home page, yeah, this is the home page of Strike. On the left hand side, there is this analyze section. Okay, the second button over here. Follow my mouse very carefully. And on this analyze section, the last option is RRG, relative rotation graph. Okay. All right. Now, there are two things to it. When you open this for the first time, you will get, the only indices, this page over here like this, and the time frame will be selected on the daily time frame chart. This is a default uh, view that you will get. All right. When you open it for the first time. Now if you wish, you can simply click on some of the, I don't wish to see mid cap 50, I wish to see IT, auto, metal, media. Don't wish to see mid cap. I don't wish to see this 150, 400, mid cap 50. So all these things I'm erasing. PSC. Okay, I want PSC. I don't want CPSC. It's like kind of a one and the same. So like this, you can select which one would you like to compare with, one another. And another thing is like what you can do is you can come on the home page, and on the home page you can create a watch list. And in this watch list I have created a watch list of 16 sectors like this. All right, once you create a watch list, you can come back to RRG, and from only indices you can select your own watch list. So if you have selected watch list of your own stocks, you can also put that. All right, or you can simply create a watch list of these 16 sectors, so that there is a little clutter. Okay, not much of a clutter on this particular chart. All right. Yes, everything. The benchmark is Nifty. So what are we trying to do is, okay, first we are trying to compare, one sector with its benchmark Nifty. All right. So that is relative strength. Now, whether the relative strength ka momentum is also coming up or down is also something that we are trying to compare. Okay. And along with that, we will try to understand each and every indices, okay, relative strength and momentum with comparison to the Nifty. Okay. uh See, ratio chart is you can only compare between, there is in a ratio there is always one numerator and one denominator. All right. So like that, there are so many sectors. Okay, bank Nifty divided by Nifty. You can have, PSU bank divided by Nifty, metal divided by Nifty. So you will get many ratios, and you also want to compare metal index divided by bank Nifty. All right. So there will be hundreds of ratios that you will have to analyze. So to give it a better picture, to give you a better overview, relative rotation graph is prepared. All right. Yes, seven. This is, you can avail a free trial of web.strike.money, a free trial of 7 days, and then it is a subscription based model. And if you subscribe today in this particular webinar, we are running a special offer. So 1 year, your offer will be 5,000 rupees for 1 year subscription, and for 6 months of subscription, you will get 3,000 rupees. Okay. So you can, we'll share with you the link to subscribe in the description, and you can definitely go ahead and subscribe to it. All right. So let's continue further. And now we'll try to analyze what do we mean by, when a sector is in leading quadrant, when it is in weakening, lagging, or improving quadrant. And you can also see over here, my friends, when you there's a small play button. All right, I'll click on this play button over here, and you will see that over a period of time, how are all these sectors changing quadrants. mostly in the clockwise direction. All right, how are they changing the quadrants over here, and the change of quadrants, what does it mean? All right, so the first thing over here is, let me open up a white board. Okay, so my friends, what do we have is, we have four quadrants. All right, now in this, if for example, if see, either the on the y axis, the arrow is going upwards or it is going downwards. Now what do we have on the y axis? We have jdk rs momentum we have. So if the arrow is sloping upwards, it means that the momentum is positive, it is increasing. The rate of change of its strength is relative to the benchmark is increasing, is what this upward arrow suggests. And if the arrow is facing downwards, it means that the momentum, meaning the rate of change of the strength of that particular sector compared to the benchmark, okay, that momentum is decreasing. All right, so always, when we see that, if say for example a car, you're driving a car, and it's you're driving at 80 kilometers per hour, and the car cannot stop suddenly, right? You have to, release your, foot from the accelerator, and what will happen is that the speed will start coming down, so from 80 to 70, 60, 50, and eventually it will come to a halt. All right, so when we say that, the speed of the car has changed from 80 to 50, it means that the rate of change, the car is still going in the same direction, but the rate at which it is going has slowed down. All right, so this is what you will see. Now the strength of that particular index compared to the benchmark, okay, is seen on the x-axis. So whenever an arrow is sloping towards its right hand side, it means that the strength is increasing. Okay, and if the arrow is facing on the left hand side, it means the strength is decreasing. I hope this is clear. So now, if this is clear that, arrow needs to be having an increase in momentum as well, and its strength also needs to be increased. So these two put together, what we want is, if an arrow is facing towards the northeast direction, okay, this is what is preferable. So in a bullish market, my friends, listen to me very carefully. I'm speaking very slowly. Okay, if the market overall nifty, first you analyze the trends of the nifty. If the nifty trend is bullish, in bullish trends, we want to go with the sectors which are facing northeast. Okay, it means that the momentum is also increasing and the rs is also increasing. Okay, so in the bullish scenario, we want those sectors which are facing northeast. And similarly, if the overall market, the nifty trend is bearish, in bearish market, we want arrows facing southwest. Okay, meaning the momentum is also decreasing and their relative strength is also decreasing. Is that clear, my friends? Yeah, I'm trying to make things as simple as possible. Yeah, so let me know if, you have understood this scenario. Yes, yes, okay. Good evening, Kiran Bhatia ji. Okay, yeah. So now if you have understood this, the same thing you can see if you are an investor, you need to see the monthly chart. Okay, now monthly chart, the strength and the it will be very slow. So what can be done is you can look on the monthly chart at every month end and try to see whether any sector is changing any quadrant or not. All right, if you are a positional trader or a short term trader, we will look at a weekly chart or a daily chart. Generally, daily and weekly are something that we prefer. All right. And if you are a kind of a trader, you want a view of what could happen for next couple of hours, then you can look at the RRG on a 60-minute time frame chart. All right. Yes, first you need to check Nifty trend. Okay, so what is the trend of the Nifty? Where will you check the Nifty trend? You can very well go over here to the Nifty 50 chart, and over here in the Rohit setup itself. Okay, we have two things. We have RMI, it is a momentum indicator, and we have a Dow trend. So Dow trend is green in color, meaning currently the trend is bullish. Okay, but the momentum has slightly slowed down, giving a new sell yesterday on 19th. Okay, but the overall trend is still bullish. All right, if we look at a weekly time frame chart, on a weekly time frame chart, what do we see is that the momentum and the trend is bullish. And if we look at on a daily time frame chart and we look at a simple line chart, okay, let me go to an interactive chart. The basic technical principle, the Dow theory, it says that a stock or an index is in an uptrend when it is making a series of higher highs. Yeah, we have a series of higher highs and we have a series of higher lows. Okay, so overall the trend is up. Now when the trend is up, we want to look at sectors, okay, which whose trend is also up, who are outperforming this benchmark Nifty. Okay, and how would we do that? So for that we have RRG. Okay, now on the RRG chart, this is a daily time frame chart. Now look at the arrows over here, the arrows which are facing northeast. Okay, that is the who are coming into the leading quadrant. Which are they? So you can see CNX media. Okay, it's sloping upwards. CNX metal. So we have 5 data points over here. There you can increase the days also. Okay, so you can increase it. So this is a data point of last 5 days. Today, okay, let's check metal. What has happened in metal? You can see RS ratio is 100.59. Okay, what was yesterday on 19? It was 99.83. So RS ratio has increased, and even the momentum 102.15 and 102.45. So the RS momentum has also slightly increased and the relative strength has increased tremendously. And hence the media and the metal from the improving quadrant has entered into the leading quadrant. Meaning for next few days, okay, metal and media are something that you need to watch out for on a bullish side. Is that clear, my friends? So what about IT and auto? See, IT and auto were already in last 5 days. Okay, if you go back a little bit, you can go back a little bit like this. So see, IT few days back. So on 13th of May, IT entered from improving to leading quadrant. And after that, what happened? It kept on going further, right? So similar kind of expectations we can have from media and metal. Now IT, you can see that what was the 5 days ago, what was the momentum? 102.13, and today the momentum is 101.71. So slightly the momentum has slowed down. Okay, meaning some profit booking is coming in the IT index. And the auto index momentum has also, the curve has gone down a little bit, right? So even the auto index momentum has started coming down, but they are still the outperformers. Okay, they are better than Nifty. So when uh, Nifty is in a bullish trend, okay, on the daily time frame chart, so a short term to a swing trader for few days, if you are looking at a particular trade, then in those few days, we need to focus on metal, media, IT, and auto, especially media and metal. Why? Because they have just entered the leading quadrant, and IT and auto, it may continue further, okay, but there is a chance that it may turn, momentum may slow down, and later on it may enter the weakening quadrant. Okay, so these are the ones that we need to focus on. Then the next focus we should be having is on the reality over here. Realty, energy, and consumer durables. So in last 5 days, 5 days ago, all these three sectors were in the lagging quadrant. Lagging quadrant meaning their ratio, RS ratio, was also not strong. It was weak, and it also lacked momentum. So slow and steadily, they have gained a great amount of momentum. Okay, but still currently, because they are on the left hand side of the quadrant, okay, that is in the improving quadrant, they are still underperformer compared to Nifty. Okay, so if Nifty goes up by 1%, these may go up by 0.8%. Okay, currently. So if the momentum further increases, their strength further increases, then it will come into the leading quadrant, and these would be the sectors to watch out for, in the coming days, if they enter into the leading quadrant. Is that clear? Now, so I just quickly give me a confirmation if it is clear, then I'll move ahead. I hope this is clear, right? We'll understand this on the daily time frame chart first, okay, and then we will redo it on the weekly time frame, monthly time frame, and on the hourly time frame also. Okay, so great. Thank you, Deepthi, for your confirmation. Yeah, let's move ahead. Now, let's understand oil and gas. Okay, what has happened to oil and gas? It was in the leading quadrant few days ago, 5 days ago, but then the momentum started decreasing. Look at the momentum. It was 100.10. Okay, it came down to 99.97, and currently it's 99.73. Even the RS ratio, it's pointing towards the left hand side overall, the arrow. So you can see that the strength is also decreasing, but all of a sudden something has happened from yesterday to today. All of a sudden it just changed it and started gaining some momentum over here. Okay, and is now facing upwards towards the leading quadrant. So in oil and gas, if the momentum tomorrow is very strong, okay, it could enter into the leading quadrant straight away from the weakening quadrant. Instead of going to the lagging and then coming up over here, it may directly take a shortcut into the leading quadrant. So my friends, these are the ones, any sector, okay, or any stock from the weakening quadrant, if they are entering into the leading quadrant directly, these are, something that you cannot miss out. All right, because already it is outperformer. They are on the right hand side, whether it is on a leading or in a weakening quadrant, they are on the right hand side of the quadrant. It means that they are better performing than the benchmark Nifty 50. Okay, so if they are better performing, and if there is a nice uptrend or nice spike up in the market, oil and gas is something that we need to watch out for. It would outperform the market. Okay, so this is something that we need to watch out for. Now you can also look at some tails over here. Now compare this CNX infra. Okay, it has come down over here and now it is coming up over here. But the tail, that the length of these 5 days, and you compare the length of oil and gas. Okay, The length of this tail oil and gas is longer than CNX infra. Okay, it means that, see, the momentum and the relative strength is not changing much. Okay, it's not changing much. So in a way it is kind of a constant. All right, we need to understand, if infra comes up over here like this, tomorrow comes up over here or gets down over here in a big tail, then we will have something to understand about infra. But right now we cannot much analyze infra, and we can come to conclusion that infra is kind of a stable outperformer than the benchmark Nifty 50. Okay, so we need to keep a close watch on infra. But yes, if oil and gas starts entering into the leading quadrant, that is the one that we need to catch. Okay, and the ones which are sloping downwards over here, okay, right now you can see FMCG is sloping towards the western side, meaning the relative strength is deteriorating. The momentum has stopped coming down. Okay, in fact, 4 days ago the momentum has slightly increased. Okay, but it is, it has not increased much. So FMCG is kind of a underperformer, and for a short term period, for a few days or for a few weeks, FMCG is something that we need to ignore on, even for that matter pharma. Okay, but yes, even the consumer consumption sector. But yes, we can see Nifty Private Bank, Bank Nifty, Fin Nifty, and over here Public Sector Bank, PSU sector. So PSU sector has got some nice big tail over here from yesterday to today. So today PSU Bank has outperformed. Okay, I'm not outperformed. I'm sorry. The momentum of PSU Bank compared to the benchmark, okay, has increased. So if the momentum has increased, and if it comes into the improving sector, this is something that you can watch out for. Okay, and once this, because it has a potential, slow and steadily it can come up, 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 and then become the leader of tomorrow. So with some very small risk, you will get some nice small risk and big reward ratio. You can find out some stocks from the PSU sector as well. All right, and you can see slight improvement in the momentum in the banking and the private banking sectors over here. All right, so again, coming back to something that any sector which is going on the north east direction is something that we will prefer in a bullish market. And if the market is bearish, something which goes towards the southwest is something that we can prefer. So if the market tomorrow starts going down, we will try to find out whether these sectors are entering into the lagging quadrant or not. Okay, so sectors which are entering into the lagging quadrant, entering into, so changing quadrant is what we need to focus on. Which sectors are changing quadrant? So if this comes up over here, it has changed quadrant, it has a possibility that it may perform. They have changed, media and metal have changed quadrants today. So for tomorrow or for a couple of days, these are the sectors that we will look in the bullish market. Is that clear? Similarly, we will wait for oil and gas also to perform. So that was RRG on the daily time frame chart. Any questions over here? Then if no questions, then I'll go to the weekly time frame chart. Ronald, unfortunately, on the Strike platform, we only have the NSE listed data for stocks and indices. So, the same feature can be applied on the commodity charts, but on the RRG chart, which is on our platform, okay, we don't have commodity data, right? Mr. AK, it can be top down as well as bottom up approach. Okay, so you can find out some stocks and then look at those stocks which are performing or not against each other. So you can have let's suppose you are interested in a particular stock, stock, like let's just an example, let's say Maruti. So now you check the chart of CNX Auto RRG chart, and then see where is Maruti, and you can compare the performance of Maruti with other auto stocks, and you can also, along with that, you can also compare the performance of Maruti with the benchmark auto index. Okay, so great. Let me move further, and let's say, and of course, yes, also keep in mind one thing, that whatever we are doing is a part of technical analysis. So whether we do technical analysis or fundamental analysis, understand one thing, that there is no guarantee. Stock market is a probability game. So we are always looking about high probability trades. All right, so these will help you to spot out which are the strong sectors, and from the strong sectors you can go down to strong stocks. All right, yeah, so great. Let's move further. Now let's get into the weekly time frame chart. All right, now let's try to analyze what's happening on a slightly longer time frame period. So we can see one thing that we can spot is, first, try to spot which sectors are changing quadrants. So over here we found out that oil and gas this week has, last week it was in the improving quadrant. Now I generally get lots of questions. People get confused that especially on a Friday, that okay, they will look at the date, that is 19th of May, and even today is 20th of May. So there are many people who tell me that, hey, the RRG chart is not updated. Now let me tell you, it is updated. Over here you can see that from 21st of April 2025 to 19th of May. 19th May is the start of the week. Okay, so here it will always mention the start. So what will happen if at all tomorrow oil and gas performs a little bit more, so you will see that the arrow has changed the position. It would come ahead slightly, but the date on that last will be 19th only. So the date will change, okay, on next Monday. Is that clear? Yeah, so this is the updated RRG chart. So this week started 19th of May. What has happened is, in this week, Monday and Tuesday, oil and gas has entered into the leading quadrant. Now when we just remember, let's go back to the daily time frame chart. Oil and gas was in the weakening quadrant, and all of a sudden it has started improving. Yeah, you can see the arrow, it has started sloping upwards, northeast. So if this continues, okay, what would happen on the weekly time frame chart? On the weekly time frame chart, this arrow will go ahead. So this confirms that, okay, oil and gas is something that we need to watch out on the bullish side. All right, similarly, infrastructure over here, in on the daily time frame chart, it was doing some time pass on the weekly and the leading borderline. All right, but it on the daily chart, it is an outperformer to the benchmark. So on the weekly chart itself, also it has come into the leading quadrant. So infrastructure, oil and gas is something that we need to watch out for. Okay, since so long, you can see that bank nifty, private bank, and financial services, they were in this particular quadrant. If I increase the tail now, you will see that, hey, look at this. So bank nifty over here, it entered from the weakening quadrant into the leading quadrant, when on 17th of March, and from March 24th of March it entered. Now if you look at the ratio chart of bank nifty, okay, bank nifty to nifty, see what had happened. Yeah, look at this. When was this bottom over here? 11th of March. From 11th of March to 23rd of April, okay, you can see that the RS ratio had kept on increasing over here. All right. So now from 13th of March to 23rd of April, we can look at RRG. Okay. Uh, so this was March, 17th of March. It started doing well. And then somewhere in the month of April, what happened? Yeah, the momentum started declining, right? Look at this, 28th of April, the momentum started declining, and again it declined in this week. Okay, in the first week of May or the last week of April. All right, so similarly, like bank nifty also came down over here. Similarly, private bank and financial nifty also. Okay, its momentum went down in last 4 weeks, more as compared to bank nifty, right? So out of them, financial nifty is underperforming. The momentum is very weak over here compared to these two, right? But so now what can we do? If you are a kind of an investor, then you shift your focus from the banking stocks and the financial stocks and shift your focus to the oil and gas stocks. All right. So this is what the fund managers do. They are not allowed to sit on cash all the time. Okay, they also need to churn their portfolio. So this is what the institutional people are doing right now. This is what we can see on the RRG chart, that the momentum is slowing down on these. Okay, and these are the ones which can perform. PSU Bank. Look at this PSU Bank over here. It's headed towards the leading quadrant. So you can wait for a couple of weeks and see if PSU Bank is entering into the leading quadrant or not. All right. Similarly, metal. Metal is something that entered into the leading, but the momentum was not so strong. Okay, it entered into the lagging quadrant once again. So metal is something that you can avoid. So if you have metal stocks, okay, and on the daily time frame chart, see this metal has entered into the leading quadrant, but on a higher time frame chart it is on a weaker side. Okay, it is in the lagging quadrant. So metal is something that you can use the current short term momentum to book your profits and get out of it. Okay, and enter into a better sector, a stronger sector, if as an investor. Now you think as an investor. Now as an investor, so these are something that we can focus on over here. Oil and gas, anything in the weakening quadrant, nothing in the weakening quadrant. Then in the lagging quadrant we can see IT has underperformed a lot since last 10 weeks, and now since last 4 weeks the momentum has started increasing. So as a long term investors, this is a sector which it can slowly emerge, come into the improving quadrant and then slowly get into the leading quadrant. So if you find some nice fundamentally good IT stocks, this is where you can try to start accumulating a little bit. Okay, so as an investor you can focus on IT sector and don't buy all of them together. You can start accumulating some of your favorite stocks which are fundamentally sound. All right, fundamentally or technical, whichever way that you use in getting in, deciding the entry point. All right, realty is something that entered into the improving quadrant. Media entered into, consumer durables has just entered into the improving quadrant, and auto index has also come up over here. So many of these sectors on the weekly time frame chart have entered into the improving quadrant, and soon it may. So two things can happen. So the momentum can increase. Their momentum and strength can increase and get into the leading quadrant. So it would be considered very bullish. Or if they drop down in momentum, okay, right now they are underperformers, and if the momentum also drops down, this may enter and start heading down. Okay, has something headed down. So see, something like FMCG over here, it was facing up, and all of a sudden it is sloping downwards, but it has not come into the weakening quadrant. It may something like this, PSU Bank also, it may come down and then again all of a sudden gain momentum. So we need to focus on something which is changing the quadrants. And yeah, look at this. Auto was in the weakening quadrant, and it changed the quadrant into the leading quadrant. All right. So yeah, this is the weekly time frame chart. Weekly time frame chart says that okay, they are kind of saturated. They are getting saturated, and something which is coming up is infra, oil and gas, and probably PSU, which is very nearby. Okay, it can change the quadrant very quickly from improving to the leading. So we need to watch out for PSU also. If it is changing on the leading side and it is facing north east, yeah, that would be something that we will look as an investor, okay, or a positional kind of a thing. Now, same thing, we can also look at the monthly time frame chart. The monthly time frame chart RRG will be very slow. If you look on a everyday basis on this monthly time frame chart, you will see that the index is not moving at all. The arrow is not moving at all. So you look at after every 1 week, or after at the end of the month, okay, and try to analyze what is happening. So with just one look, what we see is that majority of the sectors are headed towards the lagging quadrant, including PSU Bank. Yeah, so PSU Bank for very short term on a daily and weekly seemed to be like a strong one, and even the oil and gas over here. Okay, Nifty oil and gas, but on a larger time frame, okay, that on the monthly chart they are headed towards the lagging quadrant over here. So we can sense that overall the market, because the majority of the sectors are facing towards the lagging quadrant, okay, we may not see a sharp pullback in the market, and that market may just run away. The possibility of that happening is less. All right. So as a long term investor right now, which sectors to focus on? Media is something that we have to ignore completely, which is facing towards the western side in the lagging quadrant. Even FMCG over here, it is not showing proper strength. What is showing proper strength is private bank and bank Nifty. Okay, it is trying to head towards the leading quadrant. And something like the financial service sector, financial service has entered into the leading quadrant last month. Okay, and it's still facing northeast. All right, and IT few months back was had entered into the leading quadrant. It is outperforming on a larger time frame chart, but now it seems that the momentum is losing. All right, and so did the consumer durables index. And Indian consumption has entered into the weakening quadrant. Pharma has entered into the weakening quadrant. So these are something that we need to avoid as an investor right now. Okay, and clearly it shows that banking, private banks and bank Nifty. Okay, so bank Nifty में majority the private banks is something that we need to focus on as an investor. Clear, everybody? If you guys give me a thumbs up, then I'll go ahead and look at the 60-minute time frame chart. Okay, how to check strength of Maruti with Bajaj Auto? Okay, we'll look at it. Vipan. Currently, Ronald, call option charts are not available on strike. Okay, as I understand, but how we are measuring momentum in this case? In which case, Aryan? Vishwajit, as I said earlier, the data, the stocks listed on NSE, National Stock Exchange, you will get it. The Bombay Stock Exchange data is not available on Strike platform. Okay. So now, for one final time, let's also look at the 60-minute time frame chart, and we'll try to gauge what's happening. Okay. 60-minute time frame chart. I'll reduce this to 5 so that we get less of clutter. Now today what has happened is that today the Nifty has fallen down. So what can happen tomorrow? So for that, first we need to check the short term. There are sentiment indicators given over here. All right, and all these things are only available on Strike platform, right? So we are running a discount over here for those who are not using Strike. I would suggest you to go ahead, subscribe, and in this webinar, uh, if you subscribe, you will get a 1 year subscription for just 5,000 rupees and 6 months of subscription for 3,000 rupees. All right. So what all things you will get over here is something called as sentiment indicators. Now I'll not get too much deep into the daily swing and average swing, but it is a momentum indicator which says, it gives you the overbought and oversold condition on only the daily time frame chart of Nifty. All right. So what does this mean is that whenever, okay, it the indicator becomes oversold, okay, for next couple of days, we can see a bounce back. All right, whenever it gets oversold, we can see a nice bounce back. So currently this index is coming down. Maybe tomorrow we may see that Nifty can remain sideways, or it may get one red candle also. But if there is a red candle or if it remains sideways, this particular daily swing indicator can get into the oversold level. And after that, once it bounces back, okay, that is the time it may, okay, for a couple of days, very short term, for 1 day or 2 day, it may give a nice rally in the market. And as it is, if we look at a simple technical analysis, this is where we have a gap. So this gap area between 23,900 and 24,369, 24,400, I'll just round it off to, this area acts like a strong support level. So Nifty may fall down short term on this support level, and then since the trend itself, overall trend is positive, it may bounce back from here. There are very high chances that Nifty can bounce back from this support level. All right. So for tomorrow, we may see some kind of a bearish kind of a thing. Market may come down or remain sideways. All right, this is what we can expect tomorrow. So when we go to RRG, and when we look at the 60-minute time frame chart, we want to see uh, CNX consumer which has entered into the lagging quadrant. So for the next couple of hours tomorrow, you check on the consumer sector and you look at the consumer stocks over there, all right, which are weak. And the one which are weak, on the charts basis, if you feel that okay, there is any bearish divergence on the particular stock, or it has hit a particular resistance level, there are various ways where you can analyze the stock and decide the entry target and stop loss. So based on that, you focus on this sector stocks and you can go short on it for couple of hours. Okay, if you are not kind of a person that you would like to short, you are a kind of a person which has just entered the market, so you are comfortable in buying first and then selling. So you wait, and you wait for what? You wait for oil and gas, my friends. Wait for this sector to come up over here into the leading quadrant. So you'll wait for a 1 hour or so, and if it comes into the leading quadrant, that is the time where you can go bullish on this sector. And again, you have to again compare it whether Nifty itself is bullish or not. So wait for Nifty to take support level and bounce back. And along with that, if oil and gas RRG is entering into the leading quadrant, that is the time you go long in oil and gas. All right. So all these bank Nifty, which is this one, infrastructure, private bank, okay, consumer durables, they all are losing momentum. CNX metal was bullish for last few hours, but again you can see that the arrow has turned down a little bit towards the last few minutes. Okay, energy has entered over here. CNX IT, wait for IT to see it's coming into the leading quadrant or not. and then take a trade accordingly for a couple of hours. All right. So that was about the sectors. Let me get into auto index. Okay, so you can come back over here and select Nifty Auto. And when you select Nifty Auto, somebody was asking me about Maruti Vipan, yeah, Maruti and Bajaj Auto. So when we look at the stock of Maruti, where is Maruti? Uh, so I'll deselect all. Bajaj Auto we found, and where is Maruti? So Maruti is in the lagging quadrant. Bajaj Auto is in the weakening quadrant. So you can see that currently, when we see that the momentum of Bajaj Auto is coming down. So momentum of Bajaj Auto nahi, momentum of the relative strength vis-a-vis auto index. Okay, so the momentum of the RS is coming down, and the momentum of RS for Maruti as compared to auto is coming up. But Maruti is in the lagging quadrant. It indicates that Maruti is underperformer than Nifty Auto, and Bajaj Auto is outperformer than Nifty Auto. So over here, if you are looking for 60 minutes, if you are looking for a very short time frame, you need to see whether Maruti is coming up into the improving quadrant and coming into the leading quadrant or not. Okay, and in Bajaj Auto, you need to see that okay, it's coming down. All right, and it may just come into the lagging, or it may return into the leading quadrant. So if overall auto index it improves, then what will happen is Maruti will also from improving come into the leading quadrant, and Bajaj Auto may also directly take a shortcut into the leading quadrant. So if that happens, in that case, we will focus on Bajaj Auto rather than Maruti. Okay. So currently, if everything, all the auto sectors, if we want to focus on, so Ashok Leyland is something which is outperformer, from that is one of the best auto stock which is available at the moment. Okay, and then we need to check MRF and Bosch. Okay, if you want to buy a stock worth lakhs of rupees, okay, you can also look at MRF if it enters into the leading quadrant. Okay. Bharat Forge over here is trying to, so everything you need to check whether, which sector or which stock is changing quadrant, and accordingly you can plan your trade in that. Okay. Can you please check textile sector? So currently textile sector, Kiran, we don't have, the index. So, we will be making, and very soon we will be able to check that also. Yes, so all the request, Shivam, new feature request. Our team is continuously working on it, and yeah, we are here only to improve this particular platform. Okay, and we will be adding slow and steadily. Once the features come in, we'll test it. They will be added. Okay, so not to worry on that. But as of now, on this particular concept of RRG, I hope you've understood how to analyze this particular chart. Yeah, any questions on that? So Vipin, I just checked for you Maruti versus Bajaj Auto. Yeah, Bajaj Auto as benchmark, no, we cannot do that. Okay, Maruti and Bajaj Auto, we need to compare that with Auto Index or Nifty 50. So this is also something that you can do. Okay, let's take once again Nifty Auto. So when you select a Nifty Auto, just a second. So you can select Nifty Auto benchmark. You can select Nifty 500, or you can select Nifty 50 also. All right, for benchmarking. So there will be auto stocks over here, which are compared to this benchmark, and there are three options available for the benchmarking. Okay, in future we may add few more benchmark indices over here. So that will be future plans. Currently we have only these three options. Great, fantastic. So I hope you all had some nice session. You enjoyed this particular session and learned something new. All right. So we will be doing the same session on Thursday in Hindi language also on Thursday. Okay, 6 to 7 once again. And yes, for those who are already using Strike, I hope it's helping you. And for those who have not yet subscribed to Strike, kindly log on to web.strike.money, and once you subscribe to it, you drop in us a message in the comment section to activate the discount. The discount is, I said, 5,000 rupees, including discount, everything. Okay, for 1 year subscription, 5,000 rupees, and for 6 months of subscription, 3,000 rupees. All right. So that's it from my end. Have a great evening, my friends, and I see you on Thursday. The topic remains RRG. We will look at the 60-minute time frame chart that we have seen today. On Thursday we'll understand what happened, what changed in these 2 days, okay, on the 60-minute RRG. All right. So have a great evening. Bye bye. See you.